with DOM manipulation. DOM manipulation is when we change the HTML that we currently have on our client. So let's give it a try using the HTML that's currently right in front of us on this very page on the learning platform. So we're going to open up our inspector, and it tells us right here on the platform that we do have an ID called main navigation somewhere in this HTML. So let's go ahead and find it. So we can just do a little search right here for main navigation, and here it is. It's this nav bar. So up at the top, right here, we have our main navigation div. It's a nav bar. Great. Okay, so we know that it's an HTML element, but let's represent it as JavaScript. So we're going to go over to our console, which is, of course, where we type our JavaScript code, and we're going to get that element that has the ID of main navigation. We're going to store it in the variable nav. So let's just go ahead and do that. Please follow along with the platform and try this out for yourself. So right now we have stored our element in the variable nav. And the next step is to say, okay, well, what is nav? So we're going to console.log the type of nav. Like, what is it? Is it a string? Is it a number? What is it? And of course, it's an object. That's great. So this should be, kind of making sense. There's no coincidence that we call this a document object model. We are representing our HTML document as JavaScript objects. Okay, so if it is an object, then we should be able to look at the keys, right? Objects are just key value pairs. So let's loop through the keys and console.log each key. And we get this long list of the different attributes of nav, the different things that it has and the different things that it can do, its methods. So with all this long list of things, there's a lot that we can manipulate or change. So you can change whatever you like, but the platform gives the example of changing the inner text. So let's just try that. So nav.innerText, you can see that it's popping up. It's Python Ajax, SJ, Python Ajax. But I'm going to change that now to this string. I just manipulated the DOM. And now look at your HTML, and where did our nav bar go? It's still there. The ID of main navigation is still there, but the inner text has been changed to I just manipulated the DOM. And of course, this only affects your client. It's not in any way affecting our Learn platform. It's not affecting anyone else. It's just you and the client. You just manipulated your HTML. Okay, so why is this really important? Well, it's really important because when we think about our web applications, there will be times when our server, we want it to just deliver a small bit of HTML that we will incorporate into the HTML that we already have. I have an example of that happening right here with this login and registration app. So as I'm registering, it might be nice to know if the username that I'm choosing is actually available. So let's say Dance and Turtle. And that's available. I can continue to fill out the form in peace, knowing that I can have this username. But now let's say that I change my mind. I don't want that to be my username anymore. I want this one. Oh, well, that's been taken. Now, notice that this is really cool. I'm sure that at least a few of you out there have gotten very frustrated when you had to deliver back Flash messages. So in the past, with the normal HTTP request and response cycle, we wouldn't talk to the server until we clicked this register button and send the HTTP request to the server. And then the server would notice, okay, this username has been taken, they are not allowed to register, and we would redirect right back to this page and send the Flash messages. And what happens when we redirect? When we redirect, our form would have been cleared out. So unless you did something clever, like saving the data in the form in another Flash message or in session, that user would have to refill out the form. But now we don't have to worry about that at all. Why? Because we're not refreshing the page. We're just sending back a little tiny bit of HTML that we are including in the existing HTML. We're not even touching any of this. It's going to stay exactly the way it is, and we're only altering this one little snippet. So that's what Ajax is all about. We want to send the request to the server in the background, and in this case, it's on every key press. Every single time that I click a button, I'm sending a request in the background. That response is coming in, and I'm using that response to manipulate the DOM.